place by the launch of test vehicle from the first launch pad at SDSC Shar.
नमस्कार, सुप्रभात। स्वागत है आप सभी दर्शकों का इसरो के एक महत्वाकांक्षी गगनयान परियोजना के अंतर्गत एक महत्वपूर्ण परीक्षण मिशन में, जिसमें विशेष रूप से विकसित यान द्वारा मानव अनुकूल वातावरण वाले क्रू मॉड्यूल, जिसमें बैठकर एस्ट्रोनॉट्स अंतरिक्ष की यात्रा करेंगे। वर्तमान में यह मानव रहित क्रू मॉड्यूल के एस्ट्रोनॉट आपातकालीन निष्कासन प्रणाली की वास्तविक स्थिति में परीक्षण किया जा रहा है। मैं विकास स्वर्णकार इस मिशन का विवरण हिंदी में प्रस्तुत कर रहा हूं। मेरे साथ है इंग्लिश कमेंटेटर मिस माधुरी। हम यहाँ मिशन नियंत्रण कक्ष से आप तक सारी जानकारियां साझा कर रहे हैं। परीक्षण यान, जिसका नाम है TVD-1, इसका प्रमोचन सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र श्रीहरिकोटा के प्रथम प्रमोचन मंच से भारतीय मानक समय के अनुसार 8:45 पर निर्धारित किया गया है। यह मिशन एक उपग्रह प्रमोचन मिशन न होकर गगनयान के पूर्ण विकास हेतु परीक्षण मिशन है। यह तो सर्वज्ञात है ही कि जिस यान में मानव सफर कर रहे हो, उसकी विश्वसनीयता सर्वोच्च तथा सर्वोपरि है। इसी उद्देश्य को सार्थक करने के लिए इस परीक्षण की अभिकल्पना की गई है। यान में किसी तरह की आपातकालीन स्थिति उत्पन्न होने पर क्रू मेंबर्स को किस तरह सुरक्षित पृथ्वी की सतह पर वापस लाया जाएगा, यह इस परीक्षण द्वारा प्रदर्शित किया जाएगा। अब आपके सामने प्रस्तुत है संक्षिप्त कर्टेन रेजर वीडियो इस मिशन से।
On August 15th, 2018, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, ignited India's dream to send humans to space, and he coined the mission name as Gaganyaan. From then on, ISRO is striving towards realizing this dream of billions of Indians. The mission envisages carrying a crew of 2 to 3 Indian astronauts to low Earth orbit for a period of maximum 3 days and return them safely back to predefined place in the Indian sea waters. The safety of the astronauts is of paramount importance in Gaganyaan mission. Crew escape system is one such feature to enable safe rescue of astronauts in an event of any anomaly during ascent phase of the mission. To achieve that, a series of test vehicles launches are planned to demonstrate and validate the safety aspects of the astronauts. The first test vehicle, D1, is all set to launch from the first launch pad of the Spaceport of India, SDSC Shar at Sriharikota. It is configured with a single-stage liquid propulsion engine, which is a modified version of L40 engine. Atop the vehicle, crew module with related pyro systems and crew escape system are attached. After liftoff, at 12 kilometers altitude, crew escape system along with crew module will get separated from the vehicle and further travel up to 17 kilometers altitude. At 17 kilometers altitude, crew module will get separated from crew escape system and parachutes will get deployed in a phased manner, starting with apex cover separation parachutes. Drogue parachutes will be deployed at 16.8 kilometers altitude. And finally, at 2.5 kilometers, pilot or main parachutes will get deployed. These parachute deployments will ensure that the crew module velocity is reduced to approximately 8.5 meter per second before impact in sea waters. After landing in the Bay of Bengal at around 10 kilometers from the Sriharikota coast, the Indian Navy ship and helicopter will be used to recover the module to the nearest port. The data from test vehicle D1 flight and the following test vehicle missions will act as a roadmap for the manned mission. These test vehicle flights are one of the major precursor missions that needs to be accomplished before embarking on the maiden manned mission, Gaganyaan.
ISRO has embarked on its own human spaceflight mission that envisages a flight of 3 crew members to the low Earth orbit for a mission lasting 3 days and to bring them back safely to Earth. Safety is of paramount importance when human beings are involved in the launch. There should be a clear plan to rescue the crew in case of any exigency in any phase of the launch. The crew escape system plays a very critical role in taking the crew module a safe distance away from the launch vehicle. Crew module of Gaganyaan is where the crew members will be placed aboard. For today's launch, the crew module is however unmanned, but the mass and shape resembles the actual one. Present mission, called the TVD-1 or the first developmental flight of test vehicle, aims to attain transonic speed Mach 1.2, that is 1.2 times the speed of sound. At this point of time, the crew escape system fires and takes the crew module away from the test vehicle. The crew module is then slowed down using parachutes for a benign touchdown in the Bay of Bengal about 10 kilometers off the coast of Sriharikota.
Transmitting initial values. T-22 minutes.
इस परीक्षण मिशन के 3 मुख्य उद्देश्य हैं। पहला है सभी सेपरेशन सिस्टम सहित क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम का उड़ान के दौरान यान से पृथक्करण का प्रदर्शन करना और इनका मूल्यांकन करना। दूसरा, क्रू मॉड्यूल के आंकड़ों का विश्लेषण तथा ऊंचाई में पृथक्करण के पश्चात डिसेलरेशन सिस्टम और रिकवरी सिस्टम का प्रदर्शन करना। विशेष रूप से अभिकल्पित परीक्षण प्रमोचन यान TVD-1 और उसके उपतंत्रों का कार्य निष्पादन। TVD-1 यान क्रू मॉड्यूल को करीब 17 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर ले जाकर यान से पृथक करने के लिए एक विशेष यान तैयार किया गया है। इसे हम TVD-1 कहते हैं, जो कि पृथक्करण करने के लिए एक विशेष तंत्र अपने साथ लिए जा रहा है। यह GSLV के L40 स्ट्रैप-ऑन से व्युत्पन्न यान है। एक चरण वाले इस यान में तरल नोदक पर आधारित तथा संशोधित विकास इंजन का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है। इस यान के ऊपर में क्रू मॉड्यूल तथा क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम को समायोजित किया गया है। प्रमोचन यान में 12 टन का N2O4 तथा 7 टन UH-25 तरल ईंधन का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है। इसके अलावा क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम में 4 ठोस नोदक वाले हाई एल्टीट्यूड एस्केप मोटर HEM और 4 नोजल वाले क्रू एस्केप जेटिसनिंग मोटर CJM क्रू मॉड्यूल और क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम यान से उचित अनुकूलन और पृथक्करण तंत्र के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं। इन सभी तंत्रों को यथास्थिति पृथक किया जाएगा।
The TVD-1 mission is brought together by several centers of ISRO like VSSC, LPSC, IPRC, IISU, HSFC and SDSC SHAR. ISRO has in the past carried out launch missions that were precursor to present mission. In the year 2014, the maiden launch of LBM-3X mission, the dummy crew module with deceleration systems was carried. It was called the Crew Module Atmospheric Re-entry Experiment. After the touchdown in sea, the module was successfully recovered. During the pad abort test 1 conducted in 2018, crew escape system was validated for its capability to quickly pull out the crew module away from a stationary condition on launch pad. Today's test, as we informed earlier, will demonstrate the crew escape system operation at Mach 1.2. In a larger context, this test will validate the crew escape system motors, the high altitude escape motor, the CES jettisoning motor, various separation systems, deployment mechanisms, deceleration systems like parachutes, and will serve as a dress rehearsal for the procedures to be followed for safe recovery operations.
अभी आप देख रहे हैं यह ठोस नोदक पर आधारित हाई एल्टीट्यूड एस्केप मोटर्स, जेटिसनिंग मोटर्स और लो एल्टीट्यूड एस्केप मोटर्स, इन सब का परीक्षण यहाँ सतीश धवन अंतरिक्ष केंद्र में पूर्ण किया जा चुका है। इन सभी आंकड़ों को विश्लेषण के पश्चात इसे आगे जाने की आज्ञा दी जाती है और आज हम तैयार हैं इस परीक्षण मिशन के लिए। जैसा कि हर एक मिशन में होता है, प्रमोशन से पहले की गतिविधियां क्रमबद्ध तरीके से पूर्ण की जाती हैं। इस प्रमोशन मिशन में भी 12.5 घंटे पहले काउंटडाउन शुरू हो चुका है और अब यह सुचारू रूप से जारी है। काउंटडाउन के T0 पर यान का उत्थापन होता है, लेकिन इससे पहले कई गतिविधियां संतोषजनक तरीके से पूर्ण की जानी है। उसमें यान के CES क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम, क्रायो मॉड्यूल, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पैकेजेस, इन सबको पावर ऑन किया जाता है। सभी तंत्रों की स्वास्थ्य जांच की जाती है। तरल नोदक का भराव किया जाता है। रडार, टेलीमेट्री, ट्रैकिंग, सभी तंत्रों की स्वास्थ्य जांच की जाती है। रियल टाइम प्रोग्राम को ऑन बोर्ड कंप्यूटर पर लोड किया जाता है तथा ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस शुरू किया जाता है। अब हम उड़ान से 17 मिनट 18 सेकंड की दूरी पर हैं। उल्टी गिनती कुछ अंतिम गतिविधियों के पश्चात हम देखेंगे T-6 सेकंड्स पर TVD-1 को प्रज्वलित किया जाएगा। अब आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ उत्साहित छात्र छात्रा विभिन्न स्कूलों और कॉलेजों से यहाँ उपस्थित हैं।
रोजर, LCC-1 and PCC-2 नोट
अपने उत्साह का प्रदर्शन करते हुए
LCC रोजर।
सुबह यहाँ काफी बारिश हुई, लेकिन अब मौसम साफ है।
मिशन डायरेक्टर रोजर।
CS director to mission director, crew escape system is cleared for TVD-1 flight.
Weather here at Sriharikota is partly cloudy. Intermittent showers were there early this morning.
Data loggers are on at Sharon and Shatu stations. Roger.
But the meteorology division has predicted that there is low probability for rain.
Range is ready for TVD-1 launch.
Weather will remain benign and so are the upper winds. The sea state is expected to remain amenable for the recovery operations.
Mission director Roger.
क्रम को जारी रखते हुए अभी काउंटडाउन जारी है। रेंज ऑपरेशन डायरेक्टर।
Mission readiness review and launch authorization board have already given their clearance for proceeding with the countdown and launch of TVD-1 mission. All operations in the countdown sequence till automatic launch sequence have been completed satisfactorily. Based on the clearance obtained from test vehicle, crew escape system, crew module, range, CM recovery and extract stations and the prevailing favorable weather conditions, Mission Director hereby authorized to initiate automatic launch sequence for the launch of TVD-1 mission at 8:45 hours today, that is 21st October 2023. All stations to note, Mission Director has given authorization for the launch of TVD-1 mission.
Vehicle Director clears for initiating automatic launch sequence for TVD-1 mission.
LFC Roger.
जी हाँ, अभी आपने सुना इस मिशन के मिशन डायरेक्टर श्री एस शिव कुमार ने सभी तंत्रों की स्वास्थ्य जांच के पश्चात ALS ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस जारी करने का अनुमोदन दे दिया है और इसके पश्चात व्हीकल डायरेक्टर ने ऑटोमेटिक लॉन्च सीक्वेंस शुरू कर दिया है।
The countdown for this launch has been 12 hours and 30 minutes long and had begun at 7:30 p.m. last evening. During this time, the test vehicle has been powered on for verification of its systems. The mobile service tower was receded from the launch pad and parked away. The fuel and oxidizer were serviced into the stage tanks. The gas bottles on board for command and pressurization purposes were charged and pressurized. Meanwhile, the range was getting ready with the radars, data transmission checks, wind measurements at launch bays and many other activities in a concert fashion. Based on confirmation of flight systems and ground systems readiness conveyed by mission executives, the mission director has authorized initiation of automatic launch sequence. Starting at T-10 minutes, the ALS runs a capsule of very critical checks to test the health of flight systems and very close to the scheduled launch time, the control is passed on to the onboard computers.
इस परीक्षण यान TVD-1 को मुख्यतः 3 भागों में बनाया गया है। पहला तरल नोदक पर आधारित संशोधित विकास इंजन वाला प्रथम भाग है। इस एक चरणीय यान की कुल ऊंचाई 34.95 मीटर है और कुल भार 44 टन है। इस परीक्षण यान कुल ऊंचाई 34.95, लेकिन परीक्षण यान की ऊंचाई 19.5 मीटर है। इसके ऊपर में 12.5 टन का क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम लगा हुआ है, जो कि 4.5 टन भार वाले क्रू मॉड्यूल को आच्छादित किए हुए हैं। क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम में मुख्यतः 5 प्रकार के क्विक एक्टिंग सॉलिड मोटर्स लगे हुए हैं। इन्हें क्रू एस्केप जेटिस्निंग मोटर, हाई एल्टीट्यूड एस्केप मोटर, लो एल्टीट्यूड एस्केप मोटर, लो एल्टीट्यूड पिच मोटर्स और हाई एल्टीट्यूड पिच मोटर्स कहा जाता है। यह सभी मोटर निश्चित ऊंचाई और प्रयोजन में कार्य करने के लिए इनके साथ संलग्न है। इन सभी का कार्य आपातकालीन स्थिति में क्रू मॉड्यूल को यान से अलग कर सुरक्षित दूरी पर ले जाना है। क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम में 90 डिग्री के कोण में 4 ग्रिड फिन्स भी लगे हुए हैं, जो अवरोहण के दौरान क्रू मॉड्यूल को वायुगतिक स्थिति प्रदान करेंगे।
T-12 minutes.
उत्साहपूर्वक इंतजार करते हुए इस प्रमोचन का सभी दर्शक दीर्घा यहां उपस्थित। इस मिशन का प्रोफाइल कुछ इस प्रकार होगा। सर्वप्रथम T-6 सेकेंड्स पर परीक्षण यान TVD-1 को प्रज्वलित किया जाएगा। पर्याप्त दबाव प्राप्त कर लेने पर यान मंच से T0 पर उत्थापित होगा। 60 सेकंड के पश्चात यह 11.7 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर लेने पर क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम और क्रू मॉड्यूल संयुक्त रूप से परीक्षण यान से पृथक हो जाएंगे। यह पिल बॉक्स की स्थिति कहा जाता है इसे। यान वहां से समुद्र की ओर गिरेगा, लेकिन क्रू मॉड्यूल और क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम हाई एल्टीट्यूड एस्केप मोटर का प्रज्वलन के कारण अगले 30 सेकंड में लगभग 17 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई
Automatic launch sequence initiated for TVD-1 launch.
यहाँ पर क्रू मॉड्यूल और क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम को अलग कर दिया जाएगा और यहां से क्रू मॉड्यूल का अवरोहण फेज शुरू होगा। इसका मतलब है सुरक्षित पृथ्वी की सतह पर वापसी की शुरुआत होगी। इस क्रम में क्रू मॉड्यूल अपने आप दिशा निर्देश करता हुआ एक निश्चित अभिवृत्ति प्राप्त करेगा और पृथ्वी की सतह की ओर वापसी करना शुरू करेगा।
T-10
उचित
minutes.
अभिवृत्ति प्राप्त करने के पश्चात एपेक्स कवर सेपरेशन किया जाएगा। इसके 2 सेकंड के पश्चात ही ड्रोग पैराशूट को खोल दिया जाएगा। ड्रोग पैराशूट की मदद से 198 सेकंड में यान 16.5 किलोमीटर से 2.4 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई तक आ जाएगा और इसमें सापेक्ष गति 152 मीटर प्रति सेकंड से घटकर 62.8 मीटर प्रति सेकंड हो जाएगी। इसके पश्चात ड्रोग पैराशूट को क्रू मॉड्यूल से अलग कर दिया जाएगा। अलग होने के पश्चात तुरंत ही पायलट पैराशूट तथा मेन पैराशूट को डिप्लॉय किया जाएगा। यह वह अंतिम चरण है डिसेंट फेज का, जिसमें क्रू मॉड्यूल सतह को टच डाउन करेगा। मेन पैराशूट 2.4 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई पर खुलेंगे और करीब 235 सेकंड में क्रू मॉड्यूल को 8.5 मीटर प्रति सेकंड की सामान्य गति तक लाकर टचडाउन की स्थिति प्राप्त कराएंगे।
The integration
Control
of
system profile in alias initiated.
TVD1 and the crew module and the entire stack has been carried out in Satish Dhawan Space Centre. Now we will show you the integration activities that have taken place. Here's a video. Here you can see the test vehicle being fully prepared, and it is being carried to the mobile service tower for tilting and commencing the assembly operations. This is a modified and adapted version of L40 that powers GSLV as a strap-on. It has been adapted for this mission, and the equipment bay being hoisted
T-8
to
minutes.
integrate with the test vehicle. In a separate facility, the crew module is being prepared, the parachute compartment on the top. Further, the crew module will be integrated to the structural systems in orbital module preparation facility. These are the visuals from orbital module preparation facility. The crew module is a mass and shape simulated according to the module that will be used for the actual Gaganyaan mission in future. Here you can see the apex cover being fixed.
Control system profile
The
in
crew
alias
module,
completed.
interface adapter and the CES interface adapter. The cylindrical shroud with grid fins being
T-minus
hoisted
7
for
minutes.
assembly over and around the crew module.
अभी आपने क्रू मॉड्यूल फेयरिंग देखा जिसमें ग्रिड फिन्स लगे हुए हैं जो ऊंचाई पर वायुगतिक स्थिरता प्रदान करेंगे। इसमें इसके बाद सभी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक उपकरणों को पायरो सिस्टम्स को तारों से जोड़ दिया गया है और अब आप देख रहे हैं ये हाई एल्टीट्यूड एस्केप मोटर है, HEM मोटर, जो कि एक फास्ट एक्टिंग मोटर है। इसके ही प्रज्वलन के पश्चात क्रू मॉड्यूल सहित क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम यान से पृथक होकर दूरी पर चला जाएगा। यह CES क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम ओजिव श्राउड है।
Vehicle in shared power.
Crew module all internal power.
अब क्रायो क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम को पूर्ण तरह आच्छादित किए हुए
T-6
हैं।
minutes.
इस एनकैप्सुलेशन को ऑर्बिटल मॉड्यूल प्रिपरेशन फैसिलिटी से लाकर MST में समायोजित किया जा रहा है।
Flight coefficient
ऊपर
loading
की
started.
ओर यह CJM मोटर और LEM मोटर्स हैं।
Crew module flight loading completed.
क्रू एस्केप जेटिसनिंग मोटर, इसका कार्य होगा क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम को क्रू मॉड्यूल से पृथक कर दूर ले जाना। फिर अंत
Right
में
coefficient
इसे
loading
नोज कोन
completed.
से बंद किया जा रहा है। क्रू एस्केप सिस्टम के ऊपरी भाग को MST लाया जाएगा और यान के साथ समायोजित किया जाएगा।
T-minus 5 minutes.
MC confirms radar's data.
यह पूरे कार्य पूर्ण योजना के साथ होते हैं और पूरे जांच के पश्चात MST मोबाइल सर्विस टावर को पीछे हटा दिया जाता है और यह तैयार है अपने मिशन को पूरा करने के लिए TVD1।
The TVD1 with the crew module and the crew escape system standing gracefully on the launch pad. We are about 4.5 minutes from the scheduled launch time. As we await, let me narrate the flight events of this mission. The TVD1 mission from liftoff of test vehicle to touchdown of the crew module lasts for about 9 minutes. The test vehicle, being a liquid stage, is held positively
T-4
at the
minutes.
launch pad through a launch hold and release system LHRS until the thrust developed by the engine is adequate. The duration for this verification is 6 seconds. Liftoff takes place at T0 and coincides with LHRS release. During the thrusting
Pyro and valve
of
battery
TB,
on.
pillbox
Module
is
pyro
attained.
battery is on.
Pillbox is a set of specified abort test
Vehicle in complete
conditions.
internal power.
This event is expected to take place
Onboard
close to
computer
58
flight
seconds
mode.
into flight.
Onboard
This is a
computer in flight
real-time
mode.
decision where velocity of
Crew module
Mach
on
1.25, flight path angle of 60 degrees and altitude close to 11 kilometers is attained. 3 events then take place in tandem in quick succession. 1. The separation of crew module and crew escape system from the test vehicle. 2. The simultaneous ignition of all the 4 high-altitude escape motors. 3. Deployment of grid fins
T-minus 3
provided on the crew module fairing for enhanced aerodynamic stability. High-altitude escape motor burns for 2.44 seconds, generating a thrust of 1043 kilonewtons cumulative. Thereafter, coasting continues. Condition of maximum dynamic pressure is encountered in this period. The crew escape system, having completed its action, separates itself from the crew module at a predetermined time by firing CES jettisoning motor. This event takes place at 91 seconds into flight. Now the crew module is all by itself and orients itself under aerodynamics. Based on altitude and total angle of attack, command is initiated for further deceleration by separating the apex cover, giving way to subsequent parachute release. At this point of time, crew module is descending at Mach 0.55.
T-minus 2 minutes.
Apex cover is decelerated with its own pair of parachutes. Drogue chute reduces the velocity of crew module from 145 meter per second to 51 meters per second. This deployment takes place at an altitude of 16.7 kilometers. Pilot parachutes then deploy, whose function it is to aid the deployment of main parachutes. These deployments take place at an altitude of 2.5 kilometers. This is a real-time decision based on altitude. In the following 236 seconds, the crew module would have slowed down to about 8.5 meters per second velocity, that is just about right for a safe touchdown. ISRO, in coordination with Indian Navy team, will recover the crew module after touchdown approximately 10 kilometers from Sriharikota coast.
अब हम उड़ान से 1 मिनट की दूरी पर
T-minus 1 minute.
क्रू मॉड्यूल को बंगाल की खाड़ी में
Minus
touchdown
50
के
open.
पश्चात उसकी लोकेशन डिटेल्स प्रेषित की जाएगी और
Minus 50 seconds.
All sequences
और
down.
उसके सुरक्षित दूरी पर
Crew module pyros armed.
Minus 45
भारतीय
seconds.
नौसेना के पोत तैनात हैं.
Minus 40 seconds.
अब हम कुछ ही सेकंड्स
Minus
में
35 seconds.
प्रज्वलन देखेंगे टीवी D1 का.
Minus 30 seconds.
VSPP opened.
Real-time programs activated.
Minus 25 seconds. Minus 20 seconds. Minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Hold is observed.
यथा समय प्रज्वलन किया गया था, लेकिन फिलहाल यह होल्ड पे आ चुका है. वर्तमान में यह प्रमोशन होल्ड की स्थिति पर है.
This is ROD. There is a hole. We will come back shortly.
अभी प्रमोशन को होल्ड पे रखा गया है।
We will do later. It will not be possible today. It will not be possible today. Good morning, all of you. This is from SDSC SHAR. The lift-off attempt of TVD1 could not happen today. Initially, the launch was scheduled at 8 a.m. There was a postponement of the lift-off time to 8:45 due to weather situation. And we had a very smooth ALS, the automatic launch sequence leading up to the command to lift off the engine. But the engine ignition has not happened in the nominal course. We have to find out what went wrong with that. The vehicle is safe. The entire vehicle is very safe. We will have to reach the vehicle and then look at what has happened now. We will come back soon after analyzing what has triggered the automatic launch sequence holding the vehicle. So what has happened is the onboard, the computer which is doing this function, the ground checkout computer which is doing the function has withheld the launch in view of the anomaly observed. So we will come back with the anomaly understanding and correct it and schedule the launch very soon. That will be announced a little later after the analysis is completed. Thank you so much for joining us for this launch attempt today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. View of the anomaly observed. So we will come back with the anomaly understanding and correct it and schedule the launch very soon. That will be announced a little later after the analysis is completed. Thank you so much for joining us for this launch attempt today. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Will be launched anytime, in fact, very soon is what has been said. Okay, first of all, to tell our viewers that there has, in fact, the vehicle is safe is what has been said by ISRO. Just now, Professor Somnath has said the vehicle has been held back. Held back is the term that he has used. He's also said that the vehicle is safe, but held back. First of all, there was a delay due to the weather condition, and that's the reason why the launch eventually was started. The process actually started at about 8:44 a.m. But the test flight launch is on hold for now. What is the exact reason for this launch being on hold? That is something that is going to be examined, is what has been said by ISRO just now. The reason for it is going to be analyzed, and the reason for the vehicle to be held back is something that's going to be examined, and they will in fact examine that and then update about what really happened. Why was the vehicle held back? Is what ISRO has said. That is a question that is going to be answered in some time from now. So the Gaganyaan test mission, the flight launch has been kept on hold. That's the big story. What is the exact reason for the delay or for the vehicle to be held back? Initially, the delay was because of the weather conditions. That is what was said by ISRO. But now, why has the vehicle been held back? Is there a technical error or is there any other reason? The vehicle is safe, is what ISRO has said. But the launch was stopped. It's on hold, that you can see. Shilpa is with us. Shilpa, initially, the launch was delayed because of weather. But then eventually, the countdown started. Whatever is the reason for the vehicle to be held back is a reason we do not know about right now, is what ISRO said.
Well, that's it, Sneha. In fact, the countdown had started, and in fact, we are here at the media center, and we heard a roaring sound. So we thought that, the vehicle is being lifted off, but that did not happen. Just a short while back, ISRO chairman has given us an update saying that there was something wrong with the ignition. The engine ignition didn't really go off. The vehicle is safe, but there was some anomaly that they had observed as far as the ignition is concerned. So now they are, of course, they will proceed towards the site, the launch pad 1, where the vehicle is kept ready to understand what exactly went wrong, and they will analyze what went wrong and see what can be done. But an update on when the launch will be, that will be shared only later. That is what we're being told. Already the launch was rescheduled at least twice because of bad weather. It's a quite cloudy condition here at Sriharikota today. So the launch, of course, had to be rescheduled at least twice. But the current error that they've come across, it's not because of the weather, but more to do with the engine. There was something wrong with the engine ignition. That is what we could understand from the command center. Commands that came in. So they are going to look into what exactly went wrong, and an update will be shared later, is what the scientists here are telling us. When exactly the launch would happen, that will be communicated soon. That is what we're being told. So as of now, the vehicle has not been lifted off. The mission has not been completed. Even though the countdown had started, they had observed some kind of error, technical glitches, and that is the reason why now it has been put on hold, and an update, of course, is expected from ISRO as to what exactly happened. There is no press conference that will take place at this point in time, so we will have to wait for ISRO to understand and analyze what exactly happened, and then, of course, we will get an update about when the launch will take place. As far as this launch is concerned, what ISRO essentially wanted to test was the performance of the crew module and the crew separation system. And they wanted to understand, the idea was that the vehicle, the rocket, would launch from Sriharikota. When it reaches an altitude of around 17 kilometers, an abort signal would be given. Now that corresponds to the speed of the rocket becoming the speed of the sound. And once the abort signal is given, then the crew module would separate, would detach from the rocket, and then parachutes would be deployed. It decelerates and it comes down. It descends and splashes into the Bay of Bengal, where the Indian Navy had stationed its ships and its personnel to retrieve the crew module. It was supposed, the landing or the touchdown was supposed to happen around 10 kilometers away from the Sriharikota coast. So this was what was planned, but it has not happened because they have encountered a technical glitch, a technical error. There was something wrong with the engine ignition, is what Somnath, Dr. Somnath, of course, just said. So we are, of course, waiting for further updates.
Waiting for further updates. He'll actually have to go and examine what really went wrong. However, he did speak about the fact that the vehicle is safe. The engine ignition has failed, essentially, is what he suggested. But we are analyzing the situation. We have to go and examine what really happened. But the vehicle is safe. That's at least, in fact, good news coming in from ISRO. But this mission, the test mission, has been aborted for the time being. This is ISRO's first test mission. Akshita Nandgopal is also with us for more details on that. Akshita, at least thankfully the vehicle is safe, and they had to stop the mission obviously midway because of a failure in the ignition, in the engine's ignition. This is going to be redone once again, but that process of examination obviously is going to be taking a while.
That's right, Sneha. Good morning. You've been witnessing what's been happening since morning. Yesterday, we got the update that, the test flight would actually happen at 8. Then it was delayed repeatedly. Finally, the time given was 8:45. And just about 5 seconds before liftoff is when the time and the timer essentially stopped. So there were a lot of questions about what was going on. I know there was speculation about bad weather because there were intermittent showers also in Sriharikota. But the ISRO chairman you just heard there has confirmed that that wasn't the issue. The mission has been aborted because of an engine ignition problem. Having said that, as you pointed out, the silver lining here, the good news is that the module itself is safe. There's been no damage reported, and ISRO perhaps stalled the mission to ensure that there was no problem that would occur on that front. Because if the module itself was affected in any way, Sneha, it would be essentially back to the drawing board for ISRO on that front. And it would have taken months again to start that entire process. So now we'll have to wait and watch because the analysis, the study will still happen by ISRO to understand what went wrong, to make those changes. We don't have a date yet as to when the launch could happen and whether this will actually delay the Gaganyaan mission per se. Early 2024 is when we're expecting big breakthroughs on that front. But having said that, our ISRO scientists detected this early, they spotted it early, and that's what ensured that we didn't really have a problem per se of the crew escape module being affected in any manner. This liftoff essentially was supposed to happen at about 8 in the morning, Sneha. It was supposed to last for about 535 seconds, where it would go up about 17 feet in the air.
Mr. R.C. Kapoor, former space scientist, is joining us live. Thank you so much for your time, sir. This is an announcement from ISRO that has come in that the vehicle is safe and we are analyzing the situation, but the takeoff for the Gaganyaan test vehicle did not happen because of the engine ignition. That did not happen. What is your assessment, at least initially, of the situation, sir?
Actually, it's very difficult to speculate because it's such a complicated system that is going to be launched, and because obviously in future it's going to involve flying our astronauts. So human life is the most important thing. So before that, this test vehicle was to be launched today. And at the last moment, I think at -5 seconds of the launch, they held the launch. And then I just saw Dr. Somnath saying that because of the weather condition, they have held the launch for the moment, and they will give an announcement. Other thing, I have no idea because it's, as you see, when a plane flies, we say that a million things are at work, then only the plane flies and then takes you safely to your destination. Here also, it's far more than a million things that are in function. So all of them have to work together, and just in case one small thing has happened, so we have no idea at the moment. Only ISRO will be able to figure it out and then tell us. Till then, I cannot say anything, but I will only say that it's good that they have held it, because rather than have something going wrong in flight or whatever, it's best that to make sure that everything is functional properly, and their computer systems will indicate so where the problem might have been. So let's see what announcement comes from ISRO.
Sometimes in fact, this is at the end of the day a test mission to understand what could possibly go wrong when we come to the to the actual mission, sir, isn't it, Professor Kapoor? So the mission was held actually just 5 seconds before liftoff. You'd say that was a good call.
Yeah, that's right. Because rather than CM mishap, which is because we are such. Our hearts are there in that, all the 142 crore people, and we are just expecting that Gaganyaan mission takes shape sometime in the future. So this was as a test flight. We are having our hopes that it goes up and does the functions as expected. For example, the crew abort test was to be performed. So that had to happen at about 17 kilometers above the ground. And before that, the rocket was to separate from the crew escape system and the crew module. So all of that was to be tested, and then crew module was to be brought down through parachutes into the sea off the coast of Sriharikota. And Navy was also well prepared for it. And because with the crane, they would have lifted the crew module. So let's see what ISRO has to announce, because in terms as far as the Gaganyaan mission is concerned, there are supposed to be 4 test vehicle flights. This particular flight was to test the escape systems, Abort, how that takes place, and does it take place in the planned fashion. So I cannot say at the moment what may have gone wrong, because the rocket system itself is very, very complicated, and the famous phrase, it's rocket science truly so. So
I understand, sir, that you obviously don't want to speculate at this point in time, because obviously even the scientists and even, Professor Somnath, like he just said, that we have to actually go and examine what really happened there. But for the moment, it's been held back. The vehicle is safe, but this is far from simple. Professor Kapoor, we're talking about sending humans to space at the end of the day. I mean, there has to be no room left, absolutely whatsoever, for error, isn't it? The margin of error has to be almost nil, isn't it, Professor Kapoor?
Certainly so. You have said it well, and there's no scope for any error, because one small thing and then the whole thing can go off, because space is hostile. And here you see most powerful rocket of India has to eventually function. So at the time of liftoff, we hold our breath. We just see as the launch takes place. As we have seen recently, Aditya L1 launch and Chandrayaan 3 launch also. They happened very successfully. And so we assumed that this time also everything is going perfect and the launch will take place as scheduled. But it's good that it has been held, because one has to make sure that everything is in perfect order, so that the launch takes place successfully, because the next test flight depends on how this flight went, and then subsequent flights also. So,
right. Professor Kapoor, in fact, I'm going to thank you for joining us with your views on that. It's a good thing that was held back in the last 5 seconds, is what Professor Kapoor has said. Listen in to what ISRO chief, in fact, Professor Somnath, had to say, announcing what really happened, what really went wrong. That's what he said a few moments ago. Listen in.
The liftoff attempt of TVD1 could not happen today. Initially, the launch was scheduled at 8 a.m. There was a postponement of the liftoff time to 8:45 due to weather situation. And we had a very smooth ALS, the automatic launch sequence leading up to the command to lift off the engine. But the engine ignition has not happened in the nominal course. We have to find out what went wrong with that. The vehicle is safe. The entire vehicle is very safe. We will have to reach the vehicle and then look at what has happened now. We will come back soon after analyzing what has triggered the automatic launch sequence holding the vehicle. So what has happened is the onboard, the computer which is doing this function, the ground checkout computer which is doing the function, has withheld the launch in view of the anomaly observed. So we will come back with the anomaly understanding and correct it and schedule the launch very soon. That will be announced a little later after the analysis is completed.
And Shilpa Nair continues to be with us. Akshita Nandgopal is also with us. Akshita,
vehicle, the rocket would launch from Sriharikota
really
when it reaches an altitude of around 17 kilometers. An abort signal would be given. Now that corresponds to the speed of the rocket becoming the speed of the sound. And once the abort signal is given, then the crew module would separate, would detach from the rocket, and then parachutes would be deployed. It decelerates and it comes down. It descends and splashes into the Bay of Bengal, where the Indian Navy had stationed its ships and its personnel to retrieve the crew module. It was supposed, the landing or the touchdown was supposed to happen around 10 kilometers away from the Sriharikota coast. So this was what was planned, but it has not happened because they have encountered a technical glitch, a technical error. There was something wrong with the engine ignition, is what Somnath, Dr. Somnath, of course, just said. So we are, of course, waiting for further updates.
Waiting for further updates. He'll actually have to go and examine what really went wrong. However, he did speak about the fact that the vehicle is safe. The engine ignition has failed, essentially, is what he suggested. But we are analyzing the situation. We have to go and examine what really happened. But the vehicle is safe. That's at least, in fact, good news coming in from ISRO. But this mission, the test mission, has been aborted for the time being. This is ISRO's first test mission. Akshita Nandgopal is also with us for more details on that. Akshita, at least thankfully the vehicle is safe, and they had to stop the mission obviously midway because of a failure in the ignition, in the engine's ignition. This is going to be redone once again, but that process of examination obviously is going to be taking a while.
That's right, Sneha. Good morning. You've been witnessing what's been happening since morning. Yesterday, we got the update that, the test flight would actually happen at 8. Then it was delayed repeatedly. Finally, the time given was 8:45. And just about 5 seconds before liftoff is when the time and the timer essentially stopped. So there were a lot of questions about what was going on. I know there was speculation about bad weather because there were intermittent showers also in Sriharikota. But the ISRO chairman you just heard there has confirmed that that wasn't the issue. The mission has been aborted because of an engine ignition problem. Having said that, as you pointed out, the silver lining here, the good news is that the module itself is safe. There's been no damage reported, and ISRO perhaps stopped and stalled the mission to ensure that there was no problem that would occur on that front. Because if the module itself was affected in any way, Sneha, it would be essentially back to the drawing board for ISRO on that front. And it would have taken months again to start that entire process. So now we'll have to wait and watch because the analysis, the study will still happen by ISRO to understand what went wrong to make those changes. We don't have a date yet as to when the launch could happen and whether this will actually delay the Gaganyaan mission per se. Early 2024 is when we're expecting big breakthroughs on that front. But